Hey, I'm Paul Sullivan. Now, normally I would have Billy Merritt, who would be sitting next to me, but I got a much better looking dude. He's so much more fun.
Much better.
Hey, I'm still close now.
Billy's playing director for this first part of the show. And we want to welcome Nathan Lingenfelter, an esteemed member of the Coffee Dugout Club. Nathan, how are you? How are you, man?
I appreciate that. I'm doing great today.
I tell you what, we brought you on. We're going to be talking about the Coffee High baseball team having a fundraiser, but I wanted to just kind of let people know a little bit about you. I've had some history with you. You worked in radio a long time ago, and we never worked together, on the radio. So kind of a first.
I was a DJ in high school and over in Waycross actually, and long history in radio, and I love it. I love the media, the new multimedia now. There's so many different ways you can share what you have nowadays. So it's really neat to be able to come back full circle with you now, and on your Feel Good Friday. I feel good today, so
it really is
ready from being here.
This is just so much fun. I mean, I can't believe that Billy Merritt pays me to do this, because we just have a good time. So let's talk about baseball. Now, we're less than 1 week away from opening day for Major League Baseball. So I know you're a big baseball fan. Obviously, I'm wearing Cubs gear all the time, so I'm a baseball fan. Now, I mean, did you grow up as a Braves fan, or did you favor another team when you were a kid?
Oh no, yeah, I went to the Braves games, and when there was empty stadiums, and I remember the first one I remember is Pittsburgh Pirates. We went up to Atlanta and went to that game, and there weren't very many people there, but we had a good time, and then I came through. Graduated in the early 90s and came through that run. So we really enjoyed that with the Braves.
So you remember when the Braves were, look, my girlfriend, she's a Braves fan. So, I'm not trying to rip on you. I tease her. She teases me. Let's face it, the Chicago Cubs had the longest losing streak forever, so I got no room to talk. But so you remember when the Braves, we'll put it nice. We'll say when they weren't that good.
When they weren't that good. Yeah. Let's just say that. When they weren't that good. But the worst to first. I was there, during that to witness that. And that was amazing to see the Braves, come from worst in I believe it was 90, maybe sometime along in there, 91 to first. So that was amazing.
That was about the time that I was holding a pretty strong grudge against the Braves, because you guys stole Greg Maddux from me, from the Cubs.
That's right.
Part of that just phenomenal pitching crew. You guys had Tom Glavine.
That was an amazing starting rotation.
Wow. So, that was awesome. But hey, listen, let's talk about now. By the way, we've got Coffee High baseball coach Jones, who's going to be joining the show here in about 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll be talking with him, and we thank everybody for joining us on the different platforms. We've got some people joining us that have never watched before. So thank you guys so much for joining us here.
Yeah, I did want to tell everybody we're on the Dugout Club page. I want to tell all the parents and supporters of the Dugout Club page who are part of this fundraiser, please share this live stream with your friends so that you can sell those tickets. That's what we're all here for, to support the Coffee Trojan baseball program.
So let's talk about this. So we've got a fundraiser that we've got going on here now. You're, I jokingly with a smile said, you were an esteemed member of the Coffee Dugout Club, but you do a lot. Right. You do a lot for this Coffee Dugout Club. How many members are in that, just approximate?
So there's probably 40 or 50 that are signed up as members. We have a lot of supporters beyond that. We have a lot of support in this town, for our baseball program, and we really appreciate that.
Now, the boys, what's their record so far?
I'll let Cy Jones address that later on.
All right. we don't want to steal his thunder.
We've had a rough week this week.
Speaking of Cy Jones, he is actually going to be joining the show, as you know. I just know we've got a lot of people jumping on here, and I'm going to have the honor of talking to Cy Jones. So you guys who want to hear from the head coach of the Coffee Trojans, hang around, because Billy Merritt's going to be talking to Cy Jones, and I can't wait for that. I hope you hang around.
So that'll be coming up in about 15 minutes. And Billy off screen, by the way, he gets to play producer, for the first couple of minutes. So an unusual role for him. Usually we're telling him what to do when he's on here. So how did this the fundraiser come about? So you guys working together with the Braves, and
working together with the Braves, and I'll let Coach Jones talk about this in a little bit too. But we are actually going to be on the Braves field at Truist Park.
That's awesome.
For a game against Perry in April, and part of the package of getting to do that and play on the field is raising funds for our baseball program. And the Braves have been gracious enough to allow us to have some games in June and July and August that we can sell tickets to. So we're going to go up and play a game on the field against Perry in April, and then we sell the Braves tickets for later games in the year. And it's a great opportunity for the Trojans to get to play on the field.
I tell you what, I mean,
the Braves.
That's got to be, I mean, from a kid standpoint, the players, that's just got to be an ultimate dream. I mean, who wouldn't want to play on a Major League Baseball field? And then the parents, wow, how cool is that? You're like, yeah, that's my boy right there. He's on the field. This is awesome. I mean, that's a really cool thing.
And you can, there's a lot of ways to fundraise for high school sports, and we've seen them all, right?
Yes.
But this is such a neat opportunity to be able to sell something that people want, and we have, huge announcement recently from the Braves that they're going to be full capacity June 1st, so we can actually, sell tickets to these games and people will be able to go. So, it's a great opportunity for whoever's buying the tickets to support the Trojan baseball program, and then actually, get to have a cool product in the end, which is a ticket to the Braves game.
That's really neat. I mean, and again, that game coming up in April where the boys get to play on the field, that's just phenomenal. So, so how do they find out? I mean, where do they get information? How do they buy the tickets? Who do they contact? Where can they get them?
Well, they can contact any baseball parent because we all have, an allotment of tickets to sell, and, just contact any of those baseball parents. They all have forms. You can certainly contact the Dugout Club as well. Those parents should be sharing this live stream.
Make sure you share the stream.
Make sure you share the stream, and contact those parents, because we all have ticket availability now, and there is one sellout of a game already, so the tickets will be selling out as the season goes along, because the Braves just started. And that's going to build momentum, and people are going to say, hey, they are actually playing, and we can go to a game this year. So.
Absolutely. Which reminds me, the Atlanta Braves game versus the Nationals, that's the one that's already been sold out. Now, there is another Nationals game that's still available, and probably that one's going to sell out quickly. They're playing the Cardinals in June. So, I mean, that's going to be, that's going to be a big rivalry. You got the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers are going to be playing. So, I mean, a really good matchups. These are not like the trash games, if you will.
Right, right. Yeah, they gave us some really good games.
Yes, and the Braves are really good this year.
Yeah,
I mean, they are really good. And they've added a few extra players this season, so they had a good offseason. Added some great talent to the team. So, expecting big things. I mean, truly, from the Braves, they've got a really good season. So, remember, folks, if you want to get those tickets, and by the way, they're either Friday night or Sunday afternoon. Okay. So, I mean, so it's nice and easy. It's not like, oh, it's a Tuesday night and I'm going to have to take off work for 2 days and all this kind of stuff. I mean, Friday night.
Games.
Exactly. So it's Friday night or Sunday afternoon. So it's a great way to take, the family, enjoy some. And by the way, I also want to mention this too. A lot of times when you get a fundraiser like this, Nathan, this, from doing all these fundraisers for such a long time, a lot of times people think, well, I'm I'm only going to go if I've got a kid playing.
Right.
Type of thing. But like, this is a true fundraiser. Like you said, this isn't like wrapping paper. Okay?
That's right.
Nothing against the wrapping paper companies, but this isn't wrapping paper. So this is something.
We've seen them all out there.
Yes.
But these are actually cool, something you're getting for the money.
So this is something you can actually get.
You're really making a donation to the program, but actually, this is a pretty good gift you're getting with it.
By the way, I've got the list. Smith, our producer, you're going to put a link. Is that correct? Smith, you're going to put a link of the all right, we'll do that later. He looked at me like,
I see that expression,
deer in the headlights, like, what do they want me to do? We're gonna put a link where you can get the tickets. You can see the actual schedule of all the games that are available too. So I'm gonna kind of like hold this up, if you will. I mean, I know it's a little bit hard to see, but kind of pull that up a little bit, so you can see what that is. So I'm not holding it up so that you can see the actual schedule. I wanted to kind of see the voucher.
Yeah, there's a Sunday afternoon game against the Dodgers at 1:20.
That's gonna be a
perfect game, good game. Good tickets. So I think there's a lot of great opportunities in these slate of games that they have for us here.
And speaking of which, a lot of times when you're looking at something like this, to go to a Braves game and it's a fundraiser, the first thing that a lot of people are going to think is, oh, they're going to jack the ticket prices up.
That's right.
So that they can make money. These are all under $20.
Yeah.
I mean, that's phenomenal.
These are not $100 tickets.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, so this is a great
17, 15, and 13 are options there. And, the $13 ticket game is sold out with the national. So it's $15 and $17 tickets, but you can't beat that.
No. I mean, and this is a great thing too, by the way. With these kind of games, obviously you're going to have people that are going to be now. Are all the tickets in the same sections?
Yes, they're all in the grandstand reserve, so they're all
so
in
that
the same area.
Yeah, so that way when you go to the game, you're going to see people that from the town you're from, that kind of thing makes it fun. So this is a great opportunity for churches.
That's right.
Buy a bunch of them. They can all sit together. Go to the game, support the Coffee High baseball team. So it's a really fun. I love these kind of fundraisers because, like I said, that the gift wrap and all that kind of stuff just gets a little old.
Yeah, you can. If you have a large group, a youth group with a church, or any large group that you want to do a block section, just contact again any one of the Dugout Club or the player parents. We all have forms and a way of selling those tickets to you. But it's a great way for a large group to come together and go see a game. It's
really a lot of fun. So let's talk about your some of your favorite memories. Do you remember? Can you remember your first baseball game? Going to the first Braves game? Can you remember?
Yeah. I mean, that, like I mentioned earlier, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, I remember that with the old painter hat that they used to have. And I love yellow and black. My elementary school was yellow and black over in Ware County, Wakeona Hornets, we call ourselves. So, I love those colors anyway, and I for some reason, I remember that first game, that I went to. But baseball is a great game. I traded baseball cards early on. I had a cousin that's kind of what we did, in our spare time when, back when you would get bored as a child, you'd kind of go outside and play, and, you'd have your baseball cards. So, yeah.
I mean, I remember going, obviously being a Cubs fan, I remember going to Wrigley Field, and it's hard to describe to somebody that's never been, but there is a smell. And I don't mean like it stinks. I mean, there's a smell, like you can smell the grass, and you can smell like the souvenirs, I guess it is, and the food and and it all just kind of wafts in, as you walk in the park. It's just cool. And I mean, I remember I was 8 years old, and you would walk up the steps, to where you could see the field. And I mean, I can visualize that today. Just such a cool experience. So it really is. It's a lot of fun and it's fun for all ages too. Right, I mean, you can take little kids, you can take, grandpa and grandma, great grandpa and grandma, that kind of thing. So it's really a lot of fun. Now, talking, we talked about how exciting and how fun it is, but we had a pretty big loss with the Braves, organization back in January. Braves great Hank Aaron passed away. Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
I did not. I had not. I wish I had an opportunity. I understand, he was a great guy, but I have not had that opportunity.
But. So when you went to the games, because this is again something that the Braves always do very well, they would bring like the legends where you could stand in the line and you could meet the legends.
That's right.
Stuff like that. Was there anybody that you got a chance to meet when you went there?
Oh, I mean, Dale Murphy for sure. I mean that kind of was our idol back in our age group. So I did get to meet him and got. I got the old Braves baseball that was signed by a lot of the guys. But yeah, I mean, those guys from that era, were great.
Sure. Dale Murphy, that's what I got my girlfriend. I got her the Dale Murphy, Dale Murphy jersey, because he was like the shining star for such a long time. That's right. But it really is, whether you've got a fantastic team or whether your team is not so good.
Right. You still have those, those players that you idolize.
I mean, it's just fun. It really is. It's just fun to go to the park and, have a good time. And by the way, we want to repeat also Coach Jones from the Coffee High Trojan baseball team. He'll be on the show here coming up in just about 5 minutes or so. So please hang tight. And also the Braves did announce that they will be full capacity by June. So again, if you're looking to buy these tickets, you don't have to hold off anymore because, people are gun shy a little bit.
That's right. In the beginning, when we first announced this fundraiser, we didn't know, we didn't know how the year was going to go and progress. And now it seems to be opening up with a lot of major league ballparks are doing that. But the Braves, have announced that as well, that they're going to open up. So that really builds momentum for your fundraiser when they actually can go to some of these games.
Right.
And they're like, okay, it'll work now. So, I mean, keep that in mind when you're selling those to those groups, they can go.
Yeah. So now it's not. And Truist Park, the new Truist Park, which you and I were talking before we came on air, that there was nothing wrong with the old park with Turner Field. But when they built the Truist Park, I have to admit, I mean, I've been there, and it is a really nice park. I mean, I have to give them that.
It's very nice. A lot of creature comforts, with food and all of that. A cool thing you can do is you can rent the baseball gloves if you didn't bring one or don't have one. You can rent those gloves, and that's kind of cool too. You can buy gloves if you wanted to, custom gloves.
Do you remember? Did you take your glove when you went to the ball game when you were a kid?
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that was like a thing.
Yeah, that was it, man. That was it.
Did you ever get close to a foul ball?
No, not really. I haven't been able to catch one.
I don't remember how old I was. We were in Little League. That was always the thing. We got, if we had a winning season, our coach would take us to a Chicago Cubs game. And so we went to Wrigley Field. And so there's a group of us. There's probably, because we had chaperones and, there's some of the coaches' wives and things like that. So there's probably a group of about 20, maybe 25 of us. Mm-hmm. And one of the moms she was sitting 2 seats in front of me and then just 1 seat over. And she's sitting there and she really wasn't paying attention, and she's sitting there and this pop-up comes and everybody's, freaking out, and it hit her right on the arm, and it bounced off. I mean, that's about as close as I've been to a foul ball.
So close. Yeah, so far.
I could smell it. It was right there, I could smell it, but it really is. It's a whole lot of fun for everybody. And again, Nathan, thank you so much for coming in.
Hey, we appreciate it. We appreciate the support that you guys are giving us today for the Trojans. And we just want everyone to support the Trojan fundraiser this year, and you get something cool out of it. It's Braves tickets.
Absolutely.
So, and you get to go to this. Well, there it was, Smith. This park over here, Truist Park, and not a bad seat in the house, and just support the Trojans through this fundraiser.
Absolutely. Nathan, thank you so much, man.
Okay,
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
And while Billy switches, Smith, if you'll pull up, we got the Classic Rock Revisit before we join Coach Jones. Classic Rock Revisit, something we do here on Feel Good Friday each week. This is Van Halen 2, back from 1979 as Billy gets situated. Van Halen 2 was the follow-up of their first album. So it was 1979, just kind of a mixture of, a mix of rock, and there's a little bit of pop in there even, but it just straightforward fun. And it really made what, Van Halen, when they had their first album, in 78, when they released Van Halen 2, there was a lot of expectation. So they rushed it. They did, they rushed the album, but pulled it off. Some great songs on there. Dance the Night Away, Beautiful Girls is on there. And one to look for, if you haven't heard the album or if you haven't heard it in a while, one to look for is check out DOA. Dead or Alive. It's called DOA in the album. Check that one out. Just the whole album is just classic stuff. It's only it's a little over 30 minutes. That's all, 31 minutes. So there's not a lot of music on there, but every bit of it is killer, no filler. So go check out the Classic Rock Revisit, Van Halen 2 when you get a chance. So as you see, Nathan Lingenfelter, again, thanking him so much for joining us. He's moved out of the room or at least out of the chair. Billy, welcome to Feel Good Friday.
I got some big shoes to fill now.
I tell you what, man.
You know what I'm most interested in, though?
What's that?
I wonder what Cy Jones thinks about about the Classic Rock Revisit. We're gonna have to. Yeah, I know
we'll bring it back up. Yeah. I can definitely talk. I
don't know if we have time. I have a lot of questions. You're gonna want to watch this.
I know the coach he's getting ready to go. We want to make sure that we clarify with Smith, and we got him. He's good to go, ready to join the show. Sweet, let's bring him on. So again, Coach Jones of the Coffee Trojan baseball team. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, pleasure being here. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited about it. First time deal for me. So bear with me.
Oh, no problem, man. We'll make it very simple.
Well, Billy's got a bunch of questions, but again, he kind of, led this. So I'm going to say one little thing and then we'll let Billy kind of handle the rest of it. So are you a classic rock fan?
Classic rock? I could dig it. Yeah. I won't say that I can name many lead singers or lead guitarists or anything like that, but I do love to listen to it.
Well, check out Van Halen. Do you remember Van Halen 2? Do you remember the album? Yeah.
Yes.
So go back, revisit that. You'll absolutely love it. So this is a big deal going on with the fundraiser. So Billy, take it away.
I think that Coach Jones is a lot like me. He probably enjoys the music. He said right there, yeah, I'm all about it. But you usually have to give me like a multiple choice for me to, if I'm going to pick who's artist. get it if I get a multiple choice. So, Coach Jones, thank you so much for taking the time. We know you're very busy, but we have some big things going on. Thank you. You know, a lot of people, they want to hear about these Braves tickets and us playing in Truist Park and things like that. We're going to get into that. But on this show, I like to bring out the story behind the people. And, you know, I want to know who Cy Jones is, and I want to hear your story. Tell us your background. I think if I remember correctly, you had a career in college baseball. Is that tell us how you found baseball.
That's right. I grew up originally in Claxton, Georgia, and moved to Perry, Georgia my junior year in high school. We were able to win a state championship there in baseball. My dad, that's helping us now, Coach Jones, was the head coach there. Then went on to play ball over at Georgia Southern, played there for 4 years, and was fortunate enough to be named captain over there. And after college ball, had the opportunity to play 2 years of independent minor league baseball, and then got into the business world with my degree that I earned from Georgia Southern. Kind of started off in logistics and then moved over into the accounting world. And I was probably in that genre for about 10 years. And my 2 sons got to the age where they started playing t-ball and stuff. And so I obviously became, their coach, and was like, oh no, I think that I like this. And being the son of a coach and the son-in-law of a coach, I thought that would be enough coaching in our family. So I was trying to go, the business route. But as I started coaching my own kids and the other kids, and parents like, hey, you're not too bad at this. And so I had an opportunity at a local high school in Macon, Georgia. They had an opening and called me over I had done some lessons with some of their players, and that led to a 9-year apprenticeship over at FPD in Macon, Georgia. I was an assistant coach there. And then Coffee, this will be our 4th year here at Coffee. My first job as a head coach. And we think that we got things going in the right direction, and we're excited about all the support here locally and what this fundraiser can do for us. And that's kind of a little bit about me. When you get our age, you don't really enjoy talking about yourself too much. It's all about the kids, especially in this profession. But
I understand.
That's a little bit.
Yeah, well, I do. I want to touch on one thing you said there. We're headed in the right direction. Our last year, boy, we had things really headed in the right direction. We picked back up this year, but we kind of got cut short last year because of the whole COVID thing. I think if I remember correctly, we only lost a couple of games. What was our at the end of last year?
This time last year, right when the shutdown happened, we were 11-2, ranked number 4 in 6A, and like I said, had all the momentum in the world. And that was cut short like it was for so many other teams. I mean, every team in our region, I think Lee County was having a great year. Houston County was really strong. So there's no way to forecast what would have happened. But, that'll be something that no matter how my career entails or how things go here at Coffee, I'll always wonder about that year. Just won't be able to, you just can't help but wonder what could have been. And then just moving into the off season, had just a fantastic off season, lost some wonderful seniors last year, but the juniors that became seniors have filled those roles and have been great leaders and gotten off to a great start this year. And region play has started with a little speed bump, but we're so eager to get back out there and really like our chances this year in the region.
I do too. And I tell you what I like. I do love our chances, and I love, we got our seniors, a picture of our seniors back here. We're going to talk about some of those in just a minute, but I want to talk about something that I found. I think it's on the coffeebaseball.com or something like that. It's your champs culture and process. And I'm not going to take time to go through all of it, but there's some things that I really want you to talk about because I really like what I'm seeing here. We can talk about wins and losses. We can talk about statistics and championships and things like that. But Paul and I, we like to talk about meaning. What is the meaning behind what you're doing? And I read your mission statement, and I really like I'm going to have to put on my glasses to make sure that I read it properly. You probably have it memorized, but to use winning baseball to mold future leaders, husbands, and fathers. So you're trying to create, and you're not trying to create, but you're helping to create fathers, husbands, and just good men. And I want you to speak to that, please.
Well, I just know that when I got into this, I was like every eager head coach. I was probably a little bit older than most guys getting into it, but I thought that, once I get my own program, it's going to be different, and I won't have to be patient and wait like these veteran coaches have told me. Just be patient when you get your first gig. everything's not going to work out the way you think. And I'm like, yeah, well, that might be the case for you. But when I get there, we're going to win every game. And, we're going to win all the championships and all the kids are going to love me and everything's going to be great. And that's just not reality. And I learned real quick that if you're basing your success, like you said, on wins and losses or the scoreboard and not really trying to, dive into these kids, then you're going to have a miserable career, because even the best of the best over 30, 40-year career win 7 or 8 championships. So if you do the math, that's a very low percentage of winning that final game. And it's such a finite goal to have that, if you go, I could use Coach Jones for instance. This is his 49th year in a high school dugout, and he's in the Coaching Hall of Fame for Georgia. He has 1 state championship. So with that being said, you have to find ways to not only fulfill yourself professionally, but make an impact on your community. And we felt like, our gifts is to coach baseball. And as we all played sports growing up and know that the analogy of sports and life is just, it holds true day after day. And that's kind of how we came up with our mission statement is, if we can win championships, that's great. That's why they keep the score. But at the end of the day, if we can make this community better, then we've done our part, our time here.
Yeah. And we, Paul and I, we talk a lot about good information and bad information. And that's exactly what you're talking about right there. And if you want to make a difference, in the world, then you have to start locally with yourself, with your family, with your team. So you have such a, responsibility on your shoulders to, if you're the type of person looking to make a difference. And I know you are, just based on your mission statement. So let's talk about your motto. This leads to the good information, bad information, Paul. Mm-hmm. Get your mind right. We're talking about that all the time. We're having a meeting this afternoon about that. So mindset, Coach, help us out.
Well, I was at an ABCA clinic, which is the largest collection of baseball coaches every.
Lose the sound?
I think we lost his audio.
Check your audio, Coach. We lost it for a second.
You got me back?
Yep, gotcha.
There we go.
Sorry, I just had to delete a phone call real quick. I'm stuck on my phone. I apologize.
It's okay.
Yeah, just hearing those guys talk, and a guy just kept saying, get your mind right, get your mind right, get your mind right. And I wrote it down in my notes, and it kind of just kept coming back up as we traveled home. And I said, I've been a Georgia Southern graduate. Georgia Southern has an acronym, the GATA, that they've used since the 80s when Eric Russell was there. And I kind of wanted something like that for our own. So I get your mind right. GMYR, Jimmer is kind of what we say, and we're not really concerned if anybody else knows what it means, because it's our thing. So we try to Jimmer every single day. We have time that we give the boys to just go out in the outfield, close their eyes, don't talk, just get your mind right for 5 minutes, and just get your goal for that day in your mind, visualize it, and get your mind right. So that's kind of that's kind of why we made that, our motto. And it's worked well for us. The kids, they've bought in, and that's the main thing. You guys know in your line of work, the people they're working for you, working with you, if they're not bought in, you're never going to be able to maximize what you're trying to accomplish as an organization. And that's kind of where we went with that phrasing.
I love it, man. You have to have buy-in. You have to have buy-in from your employees, from your teammates, from your coaching staff, from your players, from your parents, from we had a tough buy-in with one of our clients this past week.
Absolutely.
So we know about that. Now, we're going to get into these kids. I know I got all these parents watching out here. We want to talk some baseball and talk about the promotion. I want to just talk about one more thing from your champs, culture, and process, and that's vision. Paul, can you read that? I think your close-up odds are better than mine.
Yeah. Win the opener, win the region, host/win a playoff series, win a state championship.
All right. Now I have to admit, Coach, on the opener, I had some doubt. I had some doubt about I had some doubt. And
you gotta believe, man. You gotta
have,
believe.
You do. But now I think I had some reasons to doubt. But I tell you what, I was most impressed with. No, first of all, we've won the opener. We're working on winning the region. As they said, we had a speed bump this past week. But about that opener, what I like most is those guys. Those teammates, they played together. That was a team win, if there's ever was such a thing. And I became an even bigger Trojan fan after the opener. Can you talk about how that opener set the stage and set the tone for the entire season up to now?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been fortunate enough to play 4 openers in our time here, and we've gotten all 4 of them. the guys just know, and that was where you went with last year, and what kind of effect that had on this year's team. A lot of those guys in the lineup that night were in those ball games the year before, and I think we had maybe 3 or 4 last at bat wins, extra inning wins, and they know that going into it, baseball, the other team's got to get you out 21 times, and vice versa. You got to get them out 21 times. You get a big lead in football, you can just take a knee and run the clock out. In baseball, I mean, even if they've got that 20th out, you still have life, you still have breath. And our kids, that's one thing that they really take pride in. And every loss that we've had this year, our kids were shocked after that 21st out because they really thought they would somehow find a way to win. And that's just kind of how the opener went for us this year. And like I said, we carried that through a good stretch in our non-region schedule, and opened up with a great Wayne team. All hats off to those guys, but we're eager, like I said, eager to get back out and, like I said, build on that opener and build on that victory and that mindset that, put small goals out there, but keep in mind the big picture. And the big picture, as you just read off, is to host a playoff series. That's still well within our control if we take care of business the rest of the way in our region. And this crazy COVID year, you never know what's going to happen to any of your opponents. You certainly don't wish any bad will on anybody, but you got to keep playing just in case you get a chance to sneak back in there and win this thing. So that's the mindset we're taking. We're going to get in the weight room today and have a great day and be ready to go next week.
And keeping that vision up there. I mean, I love what I saw. Where can parents and other fans go to get some more of this information? Because I'm going to skip. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but there's some great information on here. Champs Culture.
Sure. We started a website. It's called just plain and simple, coffeebaseball.com. It's not going to knock your socks off. It's not ESPN or GeorgiaBulldogs.com, but it does provide the information. It's got our rosters, our schedules, our wonderful outfield wall sponsors, how you could be a part of something like that, and then some of our creeds and our mottos and things that we adhere to every single day and we think shape our program.
Yeah, absolutely. So Smith's got the link there in the comments as well. Okay, let's shift gears. You talked about so many things. We talked about leadership, you talked about culture, you talked about, the vision and just making a difference. So let's talk specifically about the leaders on your team. And you have almost 40 people on your roster. So parents, I'm sorry, we're not going to mention all the names. I just want to mention the seniors real quick,
sir.
Because this is their last season, right?
It's a big deal.
Yes. Trevor Gruska, Dalen Douglas, Logan Miller, Maddox Shook, Hayden Weems, Nathan Vining, Ben Lingenfelter, and AJ Wilkerson. If I got that correct, if I missed anybody, I'm sorry, but I think I got everybody off the.
And I think you pronounced them all correct.
Yeah, I've had a little experience there.
I think.
Man, I just have to say, I've watched these guys from T-ball. I really honestly have watched all these guys play from T-ball. And there's some guys that when they started, I was like, I'm not sure he's going to make it. And now they're just doing fantastic and showing leadership and that not quitting, that resilience. What do you have to say about your seniors and about the leadership that they have given us?
Well, these guys will always hold a special place in my heart because they were all freshmen when I got here. So if they're not doing well, it's because of their coaches, and we're the first ones to admit that. So to hear you say that you feel like they've all developed into good, fine ball players is really a compliment to my coaching staff. But those guys, they're the heartbeat of our team. And there's something that happens to a high school athlete when he becomes a senior. I think it's the finality of the moment. They just realize that this is it, and hopefully they realize Coach was right all those years, and the things Coach has been telling them is it really rings true to them all of a sudden. And all those names you listed, I could as I think about those names in my head, each one of those kids has a defined role on our team, and they've embraced it. And like you said, some of those roles probably couldn't have been forecasted when they were 10, 11, 12 years old. Some of them obviously could, but we're just so proud of all of them. Each one of them contributes pretty much on a game by game basis. A lot of people see the names on the lineup card or the names in the box score, but they don't realize all the preparation that the rest of the dugout goes through a game, whether they actually get in a game or not. Baseball's a lot different than the other sports. There's not free substitution, but those guys are contributing, I promise you, on a nightly basis and having our team prepared, and we'll go as far as they can lead us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I want to talk about something that I noticed is these guys, they hop in and they really seem to like each other, and they support each other. Not just, you know, I'm just going to mention some of the things, and we've got all day. I don't know what time you have to leave, but I'm gonna try to get through this pretty quickly. I noticed AJ Wilkerson, you know, he wasn't playing early in the year. Now he's been a big part. He's shown up and really hitting the ball well, and he was batting in the number 4 spot last night. The guy's just, you know, a competitor.
That's right. Well, AJ's a 3-sport athlete, which is extremely rare these days as time has gone by in the GHSA. The sports have started to overlap, and it's a real challenge for kids to do that these days with the year-round training that all the sports seem to do. It seems like the norm is to pick maybe 2 out of the 3 if you're a really great athlete, but AJ does all 3. So we have to wait for basketball. We always have to make a strong run in the playoffs in basketball, and AJ's been a big part of that team, a leader on that squad. So we get it. Last year, you know, by the time AJ got out here, the season was cut short. So he's really getting his feet up under him after almost a couple of years off from actually competing in a game. But like I said, there's some guys that when you flip the lights on, that they're ready to go, and AJ's he's one of those guys. We're trying to get him more and more reps in the outfield. The outfield's a new position for AJ, but we feel like that, like I said, the way he swings the bat, he can contribute to us. And we got a lot of guys off the bench that are swinging the bat. So if anybody goes cold or, you know, has a spell here or there, we've got guys that can come in and stay hot for a while and get until that guy can get back in the lineup. And that's kind of how AJ's season's gone so far.
Absolutely. He does a great job. Ben Lingenfelter, you know, talking about overcoming problems. You know, he had some health issues less than 2 years ago, I think, and then he got injured a couple games ago, and then he, you know, so straight off the bench back into left field. I tell you what, the kid he ran some down last night that really even running into the wall. So he's really showed up this year as well.
Yeah, Ben's just a tremendous leader, a guy that had to take a year off with heart surgery in the 10th grade, but made a commitment to come back and be better than ever in the 11th grade. And it just worked out as exactly the way we planned it out. Through being in the fire, like you said, playing the region favorite and top 5 team in the state. Hey, buddy, you're back in your leadoff spot. Go get them, get us started. So that was a tough ask, but speed never goes in a slump, as they say in baseball. And Ben, he showed that throughout the series with several fantastic catches out in left field. He'll give us a stabilizing force out there in the outfield. I'd like to mention Logan Miller. Logan Miller's been in quarantine for 14 days. Couldn't have happened at a tougher time for us as a program. And as for Logan, he's just been biding his time waiting. He feels fantastic. And he'll be back out there to help us in the outfield. And he's another one of those seniors that you talk about that's just kind of has found his role. Is always he can run the bases for the catcher. He can start in right field. He came up with a big hit earlier in the year to give us a big win over at home in the Chuck. So can't wait to get Logan back, get Ben back, getting some live at bats, get back to full strength and attack this region.
Okay, and I'm gonna give you a chance to talk about like 3 players at one time right here. I'm gonna talk about some pitchers: Dalen Douglas, Hayden Weems, and then their catcher Nathan Vining. We're talking about the senior pitchers right here. Tell us how these guys have developed and working together, and how they're. I mean, you know, we weren't just loaded up with D1 pitchers, you know, to start.
That's right, and we talk about that all the time in the coach's office. You know, that there's not a high school draft coming up next week. These are the boys that we got, and we've got to win with them because that's what they expect us to prepare them to do, and you know that's what we're called to do. But those 3 in particular. Those guys, talking about guys that just like each other. Those are guys that come up and work on their own. I tell the boys all the time, if the only time that you prepare or practice or work on your game is when you and I are together, then you're going to go lacking, because we have 2.5, 3 hour practices, and once the season gets started, those are few and far between. So a lot of the work and the production that you're going to get from your talent is going to have to come when nobody's looking. What are you doing when the lights are off, so to speak, is how we phrase it. But those Hayden's been our ace this year. He's a guy that throws strikes. Is not going to blow the ball by you with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but speaking of those old 90s teams, he's a high school version of a Greg Maddox, a guy that's not going to walk people and going to make you put the ball in play, and has got to have good defense behind him. Nathan's been tremendous all 4 years in our program, has kind of waited his turn, so to speak. Had great catchers in the past, and Nathan's learned from them. He's worked his tail off and has earned the playing time that he gets back there. He does a great job calling pitches, commanding the pitching staff. And then you got Shook that's just really just kind of grown over the last 4 years from, just a tall, skinny freshman that we were wondering if he could play first or contribute in the outfield to just really, really, really putting in that time on the mound and in the bullpen to a guy that we feel like we can bring in any situation in any game. So those three are major cornerstone to the success that we hope to have going forward.
Yeah, man, I thank you so much for those details there. Now, I want to talk about a player that I've witnessed who has really shown me what your motto is all about and the mindset thing. Because one thing that I know as a parent and as a coach is the coach, his job is not to make the right decision. His job is to make the best decision at the time with the information that he has. So, a lot of times parents are going to question a lot of things. And, I had the benefit of talking to Trevor when he comes home from games. And I say, what about this? And what about this? And he's able to really articulate, what's going on in the game and provide some of that information that we don't have as, fans or parents and things like that. So Trevor Gruska, he's had to play several different positions this year. And tell us about, choosing positions for players and specifically Trevor Gruska.
Yeah, Trevor's been a kid that got thrown in the fire as a freshman. He went his freshman year, he was able to contribute and we needed him. And it was tough on myself and tough on Trevor because at a big school like that, like we're at here at Coffee and the opponents we play, you don't encounter many freshmen out there. And the mindset behind that, sometimes gets foggy outside of our dugout. So Trevor had to grow up really fast. He didn't have to deal with much adversity because he was a really good player, but he just over time, like I said, Trevor has probably grown mentally more than any player I've ever coached. Missed him last night. He's got a bum ankle that he made a tremendous diving catch in game 1, but severely sprained his ankle, went out there and pitched on it in game 2. And then last night we thought it best to get him off of it. But Trevor's mental capacity for the game, his baseball IQ, so to speak, is kind of the driving force behind our club. Trevor's the guy that always comes to me and says, Coach, the seniors, we'd like to meet. We have a leadership council. Look, can the leadership council meet today? We got some things on our mind. Trevor really is able to, like you said, articulate what our goals are as coaches and whatnot, but also to become a coach himself. We challenge all of our kids to become their own coach. Once I have to quit telling you what to do and how to do it, and you can do that for yourself, you're able to make adjustments quicker in game time, in real time. And that's what Trevor is really good at. He's really good at coaching himself. And while all along keeping the humility to accept coaching from his actual coaches. So that's a rare find in a 17, 18-year-old. And Trevor's going to play this game probably 2 or 3, 4 more years after high school. And that's why he's going to be able to do that, is because of his mental capacity and his baseball IQ, which as at the next level serve you just as well as any kind of talent that you bring with you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he has that vision, and I think it fits your vision. So I appreciate those comments there. Now, Paul, you've been quiet during this time, but I'm about to go to you and the coach. You guys talk about the Truist Park and things like that. And I know you're all into Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. As you can tell, I'm a high school nut, right? So, but before we get there, I got to ask a couple tough questions right here, Coach. What's the biggest challenge that you say you've been here 4 years? What's your biggest challenge been coming to Coffee County? And by the way, you're doing a fantastic job. You can't argue with wins and losses. Numbers don't lie, right? So what's been your biggest challenge coming to Coffee County and being successful?
Well, I just think that obviously programs that are in a great state, they rarely have to hire new coaches. So the program was not where the Coffee standards are from the 80s and 90s. And I don't think that it was ever accepted by anybody, certainly not by our wonderful administration or Coach Garrett or Coach White, our athletic directors, they were looking for a guy to get things back on track. And I think the biggest challenge was just to get the community and the players to trust that we were here for the long haul, that we weren't here to just try to make a buck or teach school or just throw baseballs around. This was something that we wanted to dedicate our lives to here in Douglas and use our mission statement. But the biggest challenge was just getting people on board, like we talked about a while ago, buy-in. It's not that they didn't want to buy in, but it was kind of like the high school love where you've been brokenhearted over and over and over. And she says, yeah, you can take me out one more time. And you're just like, well, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I think that's kind of where we were as a baseball community. Like, yeah, this guy's saying all the right things and he's got all these ideas that he thinks will work. But, we may have heard that in the past and it didn't work. So I think that was the biggest challenge.
Fair enough. So what have you been most surprised by? Like, man, I had no idea,
The community support. I mean, just we hadn't touched on it yet, but I'm sure Trevor's told you about it. We just put up a brand new strength and conditioning facility right here I'm standing in our home dugout right now, but right on the other side of our home locker room, we have the state-of-the-art weight strength and conditioning facility with AstroTurf sleds, machines, eight bench press units, squat racks, workout power racks. We got a washer and dryer. We can do the kids' uniforms. It's totally air conditioned. It's attached right to our batting cage. And just that's what's been the biggest surprise for me is just the amazing support and the facilities that Coffee's able to offer. And then just probably akin to that is the drive that our kids have. When we got here, when I was asking around about the job, that we were in the region with Houston County, and one of my best friends was the head coach at the time. He played for my dad at Perry High. So I just kind of asked him, I said, hey, what are your thoughts on Coffee? How are they in baseball? And he's like, why? You thinking about going there? And I'm like, oh no, we're going to a camp and they're going. So I'm kind of just scouting them out because I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag that I had drawn some interest. So he's like, well, I tell you, those Coffee boys, they're tough. They're going to fight you to the end. And we kind of, as I got here and learned that, and it was proved to be true, we kind of incorporated that Coffee Boys logo or namesake into, how we do things, because it really does mean something to these kids to be a Coffee boy. And it's kind of taken on a life of its own that we didn't really intend, but it's fantastic. And I think it measures our kids out perfectly.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I appreciate that. Now one more question. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Paul, and I want you to talk about all the things that you're sitting there, you're ready to talk about.
Good.
Coach, nobody can do anything great alone, right? So tell us about your support staff, your coaching staff, and give me some names there and what you.
Absolutely. Well, as we mentioned, Coach Bob Jones is a retired coach, is our dugout coach, helps us with the field, does everything with field care. Anything from throwing, batting practice, 73 years young and still going strong. Best BP you've ever seen. Behind him, I have Hill Thomas, who coaches first base for us. Hill's our catching coach. He came to us from the early county areas where he graduated high school, along with LaDonis Bryant, our hitting instructor. LaDonis played collegiately at Kennesaw State and just finished up. I think LaDonis is 25, 26, and Hill's maybe a year older. So got some good young coaches that have all the fire and passion that young coaches bring, and that's their contribution along with the knowledge of the game. On our AA team, we have Sam Hoff. Sam's been at Coffee, I think, a year or two longer than I have, teaches at the middle school. Fantastic teacher, fantastic coach, does just a guy that's a guy that fills in the gaps when you have things that need to be done. Sam's that guy. We also have added another coach, Jacob Corson. It's a little bit rare, but Jacob actually played for us here at Coffee and graduated last year, and came to me one day and said that his goal was to become a head coach one day. And I had it open, and I just thought to myself, what better opportunity for Jacob and for us as a staff to have guys that already know how we do things And it's been, as you can imagine, it works pretty well in college. College guys will finish their playing career and just move right into the dugout and be grad assistants. We see that all the time on the football sidelines. But try to copy that model in high school, I was a little bit nervous, but it could not have worked out any better. And we're really proud of Jacob, and I'm proud of the way the boys have respected Jacob, because they know that at the very root of everything Jacob does is for the betterment of our program. So that's a little bit of our staff. I think I got the best staff in the state of Georgia. I can call those guys that, right now when we get through done interviewing, ask them to do anything in the world, and they won't hesitate. So, and they really, I try to come up with the best plans for our team and how to make our team better. But those are the guys that go out there and implement those plans. And without those guys, this program wouldn't be anything that it is now.
Thank you very much. All right, Paul, I'm going to unleash the MLB.
Well, before we step into the MLB part of it, I wanted to ask the coach one question. Coach, a lot of times you'll see parents at the game, after the game, before the game, things like that, but you really don't get an opportunity too many times to kind of address the community as a whole. So when you're talking about the great support, things like that, we're going to give you the platform. So what would you like to say to the community?
Well, I take every opportunity I can when I do see them at the games. And I've never hesitated on social media to let people know that we do have the best fans in the state of Georgia. I know everybody likes to say that, but if you look in the crowd at our away games, we're going to outnumber the home team 90% of the time. And not only in baseball, but in every single sport. We've never had the 4 years I've been here, we've never had a fundraising goal that we have not met or surpassed. It's been every single year, whatever we've asked the students, whether it was raffling off a golf cart, a boat, we did online donations. Everybody has a benchmark that they have to meet every single year. We've been able to meet that. And it's just because people love baseball in Coffee County. They love sports in general, but baseball is one of those things that had the 3 championships in the 80s. A lot of these parents played on those teams, or have brothers that played on those teams, or have cousins that played on those teams. So they have that connection to the time when we were a state powerhouse. They want to see it get back. And they put their money where their mouth is. It's easy to come to the games and buy a Coke and some popcorn and let that be your contribution to the program. And it's certainly appreciated 100%. But there are parents and our supporters, and especially our advertisers. The next time you're at a home game, please take the time to notice all 39 of those signs out on the dugout, out on the outfield wall, because that's a 50% of our baseball budget. We're able to self-finance ourselves in baseball. Obviously, if we have any needs, our athletic department meets those. But we like to brag and say with our dugout club combined with our outfield sales signs, which is strictly from the community, we're self-sufficient, and all our funding comes from internally from our people and our program. So I can't say thank you enough. I hope that people know how much they're needed, and they're, even in this time where people were not able to maybe have the revenue streams that they normally had with their businesses. I was very nervous. The support, we actually sold 5 more outfield signs this year than we did last year. So it's just a tremendous statement of faith from our community in our program. And it's really, it burdens us as coaches to make sure that we're going the extra mile so this program can be the very best that it can be. And that's why we come to work every single day for those people.
Well, Coach, you've got such a great mentality, and of course, you kind of have to have that to be a coach. And so, again,
everybody doesn't.
Well, you're absolutely right. I should have said you have to have that to be a good coach, not just to be a coach, to be a good coach. So you have that mentality, and so we wanted to extend our thank you to you as well, because a lot of times the community, they're like, oh, that coach, yeah, I see him, or I know his name and things like that. But as a coach, you're not just coaching during the game. I mean, you're their extra parent, you're their guidance counselor, you're their friend, you're their ride sometimes. I mean,
that's right.
All those things. So thank you so much for what you do as a coach.
Hey, this has been a blast for me. Like I said, it's something that early in my career I struggled at. You may hang up and say, well, you're still struggling, buddy. But anytime I get an opportunity to do things like this, it's fun for me, because everybody sees the big time coaches on TV and they're so smooth with their interviews and stuff. That's not me yet, but I appreciate the opportunity to talk about our program. I can talk about our kids all all day long. But if I don't get the lunch duty and we keep losing these region games, I might be with you guys more than I want to be. So, but anyway, I appreciate it so much. Anything I can answer about the Braves tickets or anything, I'll be glad to.
Okay, great. Real quick, as we talked about it a little bit at the beginning, the fundraiser, you were talking about the big signs that the companies, the local companies and businesses do. And a lot of people maybe they can't afford those, but this is a way with the Braves tickets that anybody, we got tickets, in the teens, under $20 for a ticket. So it's cost effective and it helps out the program. So how many tickets are you guys hoping to sell?
Our obligation to the Braves is 2,500 tickets. And if you think about it, just a little bit of the science behind what the Braves are doing, you tune in a game during the summer and you'll see like the whole upper deck is empty or there's good seats available. Well, the Braves had this wonderful idea that they could offer up their field when the Braves are on the road to high school teams in Georgia. And in return, they sell these 2,500 tickets that would normally just go unsold or be empty seats. We're actually making a little bit as the program. It is a fundraiser without the Braves having to mark up the tickets. The tickets are actually coming into us that we're selling under the face value of the ticket if you went and bought it at the gate. So the Braves they're making a commitment to high school programs in Georgia to get to play on their field, and they're selling those tickets that would go unsold anyway, and they're allowed a small profit margin so that if you can sell 2,500 of them, it can be a good fundraiser for you. So this was something that I experienced as an assistant coach at my last stop, and it was just tremendous for me to be able to coach in a big league dugout like you guys touched on, for the players to walk out on the field. At the time was Turner Field. The fans, the people at our game will come in for free. They don't have to pay anything. So just to see it, how many times have you wanted to sit right behind home plate at a Braves game? Well, come April 19th, my memory, something like that. It's come to April when we're there, take it on Perry. It's first come, first serve. So get right there down there by the dugout, right by the on deck circle, and have a great day. Have a great time.
That really is going to be an amazing experience for the team as well as the fans that show up. So the games you got the Los Angeles Dodgers, you got the Cardinals, you got the Marlins, you got the Rays, you got the Nationals. Now one of the national games is already sold out, so we want to definitely want to make sure that we stress the people. You got to get these tickets. When's the cutoff? If somebody's interested in buying the tickets, when's the last day they can buy them?
Actually, the great news about this is we can sell those tickets all the way up to the day of the game. So, we have to make a financial commitment to the Braves in terms of what we purchase the tickets for.
Okay.
But anything that we sell is after that, it goes to our fundraiser. So we can sell those tickets right up to the date that's on the ticket. We should be getting our tickets in today or first part of next week. So having the actual tickets on hand, we feel like it'll boost some sales too. So we're right in the best part of this fundraiser and looking forward to finishing strong.
Billy Merritt, who's sitting next to me, that well, he's all about goals.
Yeah,
we are. So what's your goal? What do you want to do with this thing now?
Well, I'm gonna put your own little spin on it. If you wait to the day of the game, you're not going to get any tickets. As you know, one of these things is already sold out. The next, if you want to make sure you get to see the St. Louis Cardinals, you better go ahead and contact one of the dugout members, because these things are not going to last up to game time. So, Coach, I appreciate what you're saying, and theoretically that's. But we have about 7 days. So by next Friday, I'm going to predict, my vision is going to be that 90% of these tickets will be sold out.
Did you write that goal down?
I haven't yet, but I will now.
Yeah,
it would not surprise me one single bit. That's why we felt it so important to jump on here with you guys, and just looking forward to watching Billy in action.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, 7 days from now, you better hurry up. You got 7 days left. Don't listen to the coach on that. If he's talking baseball, listen to the coach. If he's talking vision, if he's talking recruiting, listen to the coach. But listen to me when it comes to tickets. You have 7 days to buy your tickets. Next Friday.
Not a salesman. I tried it.
Next Friday is your last chance. You have 7 days, Paul.
So get those tickets. Of course, you can get them. Coach, also repeat the web. Was it coffeehighbaseball.com?
No, sir. It's www.coffeebaseball.com.
All right, coffeebaseball.com.
That's it right there on the screen.
We will. Yeah, I was going to say, so if we will, make sure people are aware of that.
One more question for me.
Yep.
Okay, Coach. Now, I want you to be really specific about this. Now, we have a lot of eyeballs. We'll have over 2,000 people watch this thing now, because we've already had a lot more engagement than we normally have. So people are interested in what you have to say. What can we do specifically? What can we do to help support you and support your vision and what you're doing with these boys?
I think it's just go on that website and read the things that you read to them today, Billy. What our mission is, what our motto is, what we're trying to accomplish, and just when the situation arises where our thoughts may not align perfectly, give us the benefit of the doubt. Give your kids support in the best way you know how, because we're all going to have jobs one day that we don't always agree with our boss every single day or our coworkers, but if we toe that line and jump in there and give our best effort, it's going to make the company better. It's going to make the ball team better. It'll make our program better. And we don't have any complaints, but that, if I could just ask for one specific thing, it's just support of the program and the benefit of the doubt that we're doing things the right way. And we love your kids. That's the main thing. We do love your kids.
I tell you what, that's fair enough. I'll take that deal any day. I know you're busy. You got to get to lunch duty. You got so many responsibilities. People think you just have the pie job out there. I don't know.
That's right.
But thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank y'all so much. This has been tremendous. Appreciate it.
Coach, thank you, and good luck for the rest of the season.
All right. Thank y'all so much. Take care.
Coach Jones there from Coffee High. Again, thanks to him for taking some time out, and also to Nathan Lingenfelter, the esteemed member.
Very esteemed. Highly esteemed.
Well, I know we had to, the coach had to kind of rush off there at the end. So let's go through, maybe some people that just tuned in a little bit later on. Let's talk about the fundraiser again, Billy. These are tickets to go to the Atlanta Braves Truist Park, the new park, which again, we were kind of teasing going, I didn't think there was anything wrong with Turner, but they made the new park, and it's a gorgeous park. Not a bad seat in the place, truly. They got a lot of those cool little fun things for families to do, like in between innings before the game, so you get there early, things like that. But if people want to buy these tickets, again, not only is it a great fundraiser, but you get something great back. I mean, when you pay for it, and again, the price is under $20, and so you can take your friends, you can take your family, church groups, maybe a business owner could take their employees. I'm just throwing that out there.
Feel Good Friday. Pick out a Friday game. Yeah. The coolest thing to me is you can go see see a Braves game for less than $20, but then that also qualifies you to go watch the Coffee High School take on Perry for free really cool. as well.
I mean, that is really cool.
And to see those kids toe the rubber and get in the batter's box on a professional baseball field, that's truly amazing to me. So,
one of the things that I saw it the first time when the Braves did it, I took my grandson, and they could actually run the bases on Sundays, I think it was. And I thought that was so cool. There's something about it. I mean, you just turn into a kid immediately. I mean, I didn't run the bases. I was just standing like on the field, and you're just like, you're like, I'm on the field. Yes. This is awesome. So that's going to be just phenomenal for those boys when they play Perry. That's going to be a lot of fun. And the game itself, again, the Atlanta Braves, whether you're picking, the Dodgers, the Nationals, the Cardinals. The Cardinals, again, that's a great rivalry. And by the way, shout out to Stan Hughes, because Stan's a big Cardinal fan. So Stan, you need to buy a bunch of these tickets. And so does everybody else. So again, you can go to coffeebaseball.com for the website. You can also go to all of the different coffee what is it, the dugout Coffee Dugout Club, that's it, or any of the parents. So I mean, you call Billy, you can call April.
I'll tell you what, if you want to get your tickets, call April, because
call April.
As you know, if you need, I have a lot of useful information, but like keeping up with it, and that's why
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, call April, but please don't call Billy. Call April.
And if you want to book a Facebook event, call Paul. You better call Paul.
Yep. So, hey, thanks you guys so much for tuning into the show. Again, a lot of new viewers. We do this every Friday at 11 a.m. Billy Merritt presents Feel Good Friday. It's just part of our podcast series. So we've had a lot of fun. Again, thanks to the coaches.
I think we had some nervous viewers because, this is a high school show, and they were, normally on Friday. If y'all want to see an adult show, tune in next Friday.
Yeah, we had to tone it down, cut a few things out here and there, but it was still, we had such a blast. So again, thanks to the coach, and thanks to Nathan for joining the show. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourself. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.